She said, there's something about you. She said, you're so real. You're so real. There's nothing fake about you. There's nothing fake about how you love God. There's nothing fake about your worship. You're so real in God. She said, I can't believe the huge calling that God has on your life. But you're missing one thing. Your entire heart. You need to give it over to God, the entire thing. So that way you can be a blessing to other women of what you went through and encourage them. And I thought to myself, wow, what could it be? You know, what's left in my heart? And we went back to the hotel room that night and we played some music for a while, but I went to bed and I started talking to God. Just show me what it is. What am I missing? You know? In my mind for the past 26 years, my son's been on my mind. You know, protecting. I woke up Sunday morning, we came to church, and service was wonderful, everything was great. And then Apostle Ann wanted people to come up and give little testimonies of things that happened. And so I always let people go before me because I always think that, let them do it. Let them do it. I'll just sit back here. I want to see the blessing that people are getting. I want to hear this. I want to be able to pray for these people. Let them go first. Well, there was 2 women that went up, and then I turned to look, and there was women lined up because they wanted to go up and tell their story. And I'm like, oh. God was like, no, you're going. I'm like, well, no, because I want to let these people go first before me, right? So when the last lady was finished, I don't remember who went up, and I turned and I looked, and there was nobody standing there. They had all gone and sat down, and I'm like, should I go up? And so I said to Apostle Ann, I said, would it be okay if I spoke? And she said, well, yes, you're supposed to. And I'm like, okay. So I went up, and I didn't even know what I was going to say. I did not know what God was going to get me to talk about. Because I had prayed the night before, but I had no revelation until I went out there and I opened my mouth. And it was about nailing my son to the cross. Nailing him to the cross means I have no more attachment to him. In a good way. He's still my son. But God gave him to me for loan only. He's on loan only. We're not going to be on this earth forever. We're going to live with him for eternity. For eternity. And as I was speaking, I could feel the healing in my own heart. I could feel it happening as I was talking. And I thought to myself, this is what it feels like to give God my everything. You can sit there and say that you love God with all your heart, and I'll do anything you want, and I'll go anywhere you want me to go, and not really mean it. Because there's something holding you back. And I knew that I had gotten my healing in my heart, which is so very important. So you can share with other people, other women, I've been there. I've done that. I've gone outside in my garden and had my phone in my pocket just in case somebody would call and say, we found your son. I've been that woman where my entire life was around my child, the one that, God gave him to me. When I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, God has given me a verse for today. And I'm sure, I know it's for somebody. I know it's for somebody here. So let's not get tired. It's in Galatians 6:9. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. I got home on Sunday night, and my son sent me a message. And he said to me, Mom, I don't know what happened. He said, Saturday night, I was so sick, I couldn't even take my methadone. I was throwing up and throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. I'm so sick I can't even get out of bed on Sunday. He was sick all day. And I was like, oh, but God, but God. You know, I don't agree with the methadone program at all because it's just heroin by prescription. But God, you know, my son now, as of a week ago, he, this is so crazy. He says, Mom, he says, yeah, he said, I get up in the morning, he said, I go in my closet, and I have my Bible, and I sit on a chair, and I face the window, and I read the Word for an hour and a half, and I pray. And I'm like, what? Yeah. But God. And He will be delivered. Drugs is a serious thing. It is a serious thing. Even cigarettes, it is a drug. If you are in this bondage, God can free you. If your children, your husband, your wife, whatever, your cousins, your family members, God will free you from this. Continue to pray for those people. God didn't give up on you. Don't you give up on them. I will never give up on my family, ever. I have 2 nephews, or 1 nephew, that as well does drugs. I will pray until something happens. And then you continue to pray for them. So encourage the people that you're with. I know it can be frustrating, it can be damaging. It can be very damaging. But God is the only one that can do it. You cannot fix this yourself. You can't do it, even though you think you can. Addiction is really hard. It doesn't matter what kind of addiction it is. Cigarette smoking, drinking, whatever, porn, it can be anything. It's a very serious thing. Fill yourself with the Word. My son is reading the Word every day for an hour and a half. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? I bought him the Bible 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it's a brand new Bible. But God, it's very encouraging for me as a parent, knowing that, you know what? Don't get tired of doing what is good at just the right time. The harvest blessing will come if we don't give up. So don't give up on those people. God heals physically. He healed me from a stroke. He's tried to kill me twice in my life from a stroke. And when I had 13 years ago, I had a hysterectomy. I had blood clots in both of my lungs. I was dying in my house. God tries to kill those. I'm telling you. Or not God, but Satan tries to kill. Right? That's what his job is. Kill, steal, and destroy. And so long as we have Christ in our life, we're safe. We're safe. So thank you for listening to me. That's a bit of my life. And I pray that God blesses you today with what Jessica has for us. And I pray that you go encouraged. Go encouraged.